We live in a world today that's constantly pulling us in 1,000 directions. Notifications, headlines, conversations, to-do lists, our phones, our computers. The moment we wake up, the world is really demanding our attention. People are demanding our attention. And yet, deep down, you probably felt a longing for peace, a kind of like this sense of just needing to just step back for a moment, perhaps coming into the present moment. And today I want to show you how to stay present, even in the chaos, even in this world that's always kind of pulling us in different directions, not really by escaping it, but by waking up within it. And that is possible to do, and it's possible to live peacefully within this world. Presence isn't something you achieve. It's something you return to, and it's always closer than you think. So let's begin. In the world today, we are all very connected. We're more connected as humans than we ever have been before. But in truth, most people are deeply disconnected. Not from their phones, but from themselves. The constant scrolling on TikTok or Instagram or just on our phones in general, the multitasking, the doing everything at once. We tend to fill every gap with stimulation, always needing these dopamine hits, always chasing kind of the next high, whatever that may be. But like, what's the cost? The cost is that we lose touch with the now. We become prisoners of the next moment, always waiting, always rushing, always wanting to get on to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, and we never really truly enjoy the present moment. We never truly enjoy where we are in this particular moment. We miss the taste of our food. We forget really about nature. We stop hearing the people we love. And worst of all, we get caught up in our own mental commentary. We get caught up in our own thinking, in trying to get to the future or thinking about the future or dwelling about the past. And we believe that life has something happening later, that when I get there in the future, then I'll finally be happy. But the truth is that life is only ever happening right now, because when you get to the next moment or you get to tomorrow, it's still happening now. You're still in the present moment. And the more deeply you come to that truth, the more deeply you realize that, the freer you're going to become. Because now you're no longer chasing the next moment or the next week or constantly thinking about the weekend or whatever. You'll start to naturally start to enjoy where you are now. So how do we stay present in a distracted world? The thing is that you don't need to fight distractions. You don't even need to eliminate your phone or delete your social media. You just need to become more conscious with them. You need to be able to stay rooted in presence while engaging in these things in the world. And every moment that you notice that your mind's wandering or you're thinking about this, dwelling about that, it's not failure actually. That's called awakening. The key is awareness, and once you start to become aware that you're doing these things, or aware that you're constantly driven by stimulation, or aware that you're addicted to your phone, that is the beginning of awakening. It's the beginning of shifting from getting pulled out into the world to starting to come more within. And when it comes to our own thinking, our own mental commentary, our own mind, Eckhart Tolle has a really good perspective on this, and he says that instead of being lost in your thoughts, become the space in which the thoughts arise. So that subtle shift from being the thinker to being the observer really changes everything. Because in truth, you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not your feelings, any of these things that you may experience. It's not ultimately you. You, who you are in truth, is the awareness behind the mind. And in that awareness, becoming that and seeing that that's who you truly are, there is no distraction. There is only this moment, and you start to become more connected with the present moment. You start to feel freer, more relaxed, calmer, because you're no longer identified with every thought that goes through your head, with every emotion that you may feel, but rather you start to see that I can't actually be those thoughts and feelings if I can also observe them. So in some sense you could say there's almost two of you, but there's only one that's truth. And the only one that would make sense to be the truth is the one that's observing it rather than being it. So let's practice this right now. You don't need to go anywhere. Just bring your attention to this moment and take a slow, conscious breath in. And I'll do it with you, and a slow breath out. Now feel the energy in your hands. Don't visualize it, but just notice it. Notice the aliveness in the hands. You can almost feel a subtle kind of energy there. Okay, as you feel that, that's presence. Automatically your mind is coming here to the present moment, and presence is also within you. It's that essence, that energy, that subtle feeling you can sense within you. That's presence. Now listen, not just to my voice, but the silence underneath it. As you listen to my voice, I want you to become aware of the spaces between the words. The space between the words I'm speaking is not empty. It's alive. Now ask yourself, am I aware right now? And let that question lead you into direct experience. In this moment, there's no past to fix, no future to chase, just this quiet, spacious awareness, holding it all. This is your true home. And it's always here. So one of the things you can do, and maybe even as you watch my videos, is that it can be meditative to do and bringing you to the present moment, is just to become aware of the spaces between the words I'm speaking. I know Eckhart Tolle teaches this too. And what that does is it helps get your mind to come here, it helps kind of trigger that focus on awareness when you're paying attention to the spaces. And when you're doing that, you're not thinking about the future, you're not thinking about the past, you're only just right here, completely present. And that is a really helpful practice to incorporate. And you can do that with anyone. If you're at work or you're listening to a YouTube video, my video, someone else's video, whatever it may be, it's kind of a good practice to bring into your spirituality. Presence is not about perfection, it's about remembering. Because every time that you remember to come back to the present moment, you're in some way developing more awareness, more consciousness in your life. You're becoming more conscious. Because every time you remember to do it, you're bringing yourself back to the present moment. And every time you come back to the present moment, you're strengthening your connection to truth, to peace, and to God. Even if you lose yourself 100 times a day, you can still come back to the present moment. You can still try again. You don't need to fight distraction. You only need to become more aware and awake to what's already here. If this message is speaking to you, I invite you to subscribe. Each week I share content inspired by presence, spiritual awakening, and living from the heart. Thank you for being here, for choosing stillness in a noisy world, for remembering who you truly are. You are not the noise. You are the space it arises in. And that space is peace. That space is presence. And the more you practice this, the more peaceful you're going to become, the more present you're going to become, the more you're going to enjoy the things in this world and just your overall life in general. So thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.